All right. Welcome to the American Outdoor News Podcast. We're here with Kris Paronto. How you doing, Kris?
Hey, buddy. How you doing again? And how long have you been doing the podcast? What, 6 months?
I just launched the podcast last week.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing the magazine a few years.
Oh, yeah. I've been with you for 2-3 years in the magazine, a couple times here and there.
This is your fourth interview with American Outdoor News. You're a regular.
Yeah, it's good. It's so too American Outdoor News, and you're not in the city of New York though. You're upstate.
No,
right?
I'm in Long Island.
You're Long Island. Oh,
yeah. I'm about 40 minutes outside of the city, which is fine.
No, actually, Ian Scotto, the gentleman that does my podcast with me, the Battle Line podcast. Yeah, I wonder if you guys are neighbors. He's in Long Island.
Yeah, he's not far from me.
Yeah, he always says, "No, this isn't the city. This isn't New York." And I've never been to Long Island before, man. So I need to get out there and check. He says it's pretty out there. You guys got a lot of stuff.
It really sucks here. It really does.
I don't know. I couldn't deal with the politics. There's no fucking way.
I mean, there was potato farms around the block from my house.
What?
It's gotten so populated and so built. It's really
that's terrible too, because you don't want to see that. It really is. I remember watching the first Matrix movie, and they're talking to Neo's talking. He's like, and the bad guy, whatever his name was, says, "Yeah, humans, you guys are like a virus. You don't adapt. You just come in and you mow things over and you take it over and you spread, and you don't try to assimilate and become one with your surroundings and nature." And I think back that now, and after I look outside, even in Omaha here, and man, all the mayor gives a shit about here is tax money. And every little piece of land that may have a farm on it or may have woods on it, they're tearing it down and putting up a dollar store or a shitty ass apartment building or these homes that are constructed like that. And I think back and I'm like, God, we're like cancer. We don't try to come in and help out with those surroundings or be part of nature. We just come in and mow shit over and build structures that have no living purpose at all. Houses, and it's terrible, man.
We can't go out. We're building up. We're building apartment buildings and
exactly.
It's and it's part of the politics today.
Well, it's money, man. Money is the root of all evil. I believe that, and it runs how everything's going out here in society and politics in particular. What's the biggest thing to make money on when you have no talent at all? Go be a politician.
Yeah,
look at Nancy Pelosi. Look at her. Oh my God. Look at Maxine Waters. Holy shit, man. Millionaires. And really, what is their talent?
And not the sharpest knife in the drawer, No.
They're about as my dad used to say, got about as much sense as that wood post over there. He always used to say all the time, man, son, you got as much sense as that wood post. Well, that's about right. And it's the truth, brother. And that's why I got out of politics. That's why I don't get into any of that shit anymore. It's worthless. And it doesn't help at all. It's divisive. And all it does is make the media, and it makes politicians richer and richer, and we lose more and more control of our own values, our own freedoms, and our own lives, man. We really do.
Well, even today, what's going on, it's people are afraid to speak their mind. People don't want to upset or
political.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Look at what I read today. Brett Favre said that Colin Kaepernick is going to be hailed as a hero like Pat Tillman. How,
oh, man.
How can he compare the two?
You can't. Well, he can because he doesn't know any better. Same with Drew Brees that backpedaled. Again, it comes down to money. It comes down to popularity. It comes down to having no spine, even though I'm not afraid. That. Right, exactly that I am not afraid to speak my mind. So I'll say it to those guys right now, dude. If you want to see that, and they house NFL players and professional athletes are so tough. They got so much strength. Well, they're proving it now how much of a spine they have. And I'll tell you right now, yeah, that's ridiculous. Now I fought, and I did, and there's a lot of veterans out there that fought for our freedoms, that fought for the right to whatever protest. Speak your mind and protest on whatever side you want to protest on, whether you want to be on the side protesting against the Michigan governor for continuing to shut down the state and destroy its economy, or protest for police brutality, which I get. Hey, that's fine. I support both your rights to protest as long as it stays nonviolent.
Yep.
All right, and it's got to. So I do. If you want to kneel for the flag, if you want to kneel for the national anthem, that is your right. Do I agree with it? No, but I did serve my country. I did serve and protect your right, not yours, Kris, but yours too. But you're right. You're right to do that. But also, on the other flip side, and this is where people, if you don't have courage, if you don't have intestinal fortitude, if you don't have any guts, or ganas is what we call it in Spanish, you don't have any balls, you don't have any ganas, man. This is what you're going to do. You're going to backpedal. You're going to say, oh my gosh, I got to fit in with the status quo. Man, people, I said stand up for the flag and stand up for the national anthem. And now people are berating me. They're yelling at me. They're threatening me. So I got to come back because, that's the right way to do. No bullshit. You're doing it because you're chicken shit. That's why you're doing it. So what I'm going to tell you, hey, I and veterans like myself went out there and protected the Constitution. We protected your freedom of speech. We did. We also, though, on the flip side, we protect our own freedom of speech and those that want to stand for the flag, that want to stand and respect what the national anthem is. And that is what this country is based on. That's freedom, brother. That's the ability to, speak your mind and not worried about getting driven over by a Chinese tank in the middle of Tiananmen Square.
Well, I don't know, when it's become fashionable for a corporation to take a political stance.
It's money driven.
You got Levi's that are boycotting guns. Same with Bank of America. You got this whole new thing with Aunt Jemima, and all these. I know. And taking away their logos because somebody finds it offensive. When did it become fashionable to alienate part of your consumer base?
It's not fashionable, but that's the trend right now, and that's how our country always is. Whatever trend, whatever in fad things right now, that's what they're going to side with because, again, it comes back to money. It comes back to maybe, and I bet there's behind the scenes stuff going on that we don't even see, being sued by the NAACP if they don't change here in Omaha. If they don't, here's an example. They don't change a menu item here at the Leavenworth Cafe that's been here for years by the Caniglia family. If they don't change the menu item, they're going to get sued or they're going to get extorted for money. If they don't, because the menu item is called General Lee's omelet after the Southern General robbery. Okay,
he was not a slave owner. Why is he offensive? Because he was a Confederate general?
Because he was a Confederate general. And it gets down to, where is that spine come from? Do you have the guts to get out there and still stand up for what you believe in? And many Americans, especially in the corporate world, they don't, because they see the bottom line. I don't think it comes down to them believing that this country is racist, which I don't believe it is, or it's racist on both sides. It's one or the other. It's either we're not, or we have racism on all classes, whether it's white racist or black racist or Latino racist. It's one or the other. It's not this one group that is the racist group in this country. All right. But that being said, these corporations, I really do think they don't look. They look at the bottom line. What can I make money off of? What commercial can I put out there that's going to generate the most shock value? And it gets down to shock value, which the corporations have learned great from Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and all that. What is going to get people to watch my ad? It's that shock value or whatever is in fad at the moment. And that's what it is. It's money driven, brother. But that being said, too, shock value here. I'll give you some shock value. If you want to stand for the flag, I support you. I know I'm going off a different tangent now, but if you want to speak out, I will support the hell out of you, because again, we fought for those freedoms to be able to do that, and we fought for those freedoms that aren't money driven, and that's where honestly now with all this stuff going on, the best thing to do, and I tell people, is just turn that shit off, man. I watch movies. So it's hard for me just to watch regular TV anymore because I don't want to see the damn commercials. Yeah. It's like, Jesus, get it out of my face. I live in a predominantly African-American neighborhood. great neighbors. We're intermixed. I don't see racism here. So don't throw that bullshit in my face. Is there a problem with law enforcement? There is a problem within the community of law enforcement. Yes, there is. We've seen that. And that, does it go back to racism? Possibly. I think it really goes back more to lack of training and candidates probably not having the skill set to be in that line of work. Let's put it that way.
Well, you're seeing like I believe it's a 26% decline in people who are looking to go into law enforcement.
Why not? And that's where you're drawn from the bottom of the barrel. Sorry. And police officers are going to get mad at me for saying that. I don't give two shits. I got police officer buddies that are great, and I know a bunch that are scum of the earth, man. The problem is that we've allowed this to become what happened with George Floyd, and it shouldn't have happened. It was wrong. Absolutely. Escalation of force. Police officer got what he deserved. He's going to prison forever, isn't it, for murder? Am I wrong? Because I stay out. I do watch. I'm being serious.
I believe he's being charged with murder, and murder. I agree with that.
It should, but we've allowed a political group or a political side, and also lobby groups, and don't kid yourself. BLM is a freaking lobby group. Don't even kid yourself out there. Black Lives Matter is not equal rights. It's not. No, they're a freaking lobby group for the Democratic Party. They have an agenda. We've allowed them to turn this into a racism issue when it never should have been a racism issue. It was a problem within the law enforcement community. That was the issue that we had to do. And it's gone completely sideways from that. So really, for the problem that we should have been concentrating on and fixing within the law enforcement community, and the law enforcement community should have been fixing within itself, we've completely forgotten about all that. Now it's turned into a white versus black, and we're completely racist.
And it really shouldn't be. And it shouldn't. You're afraid to say something because, you're a racist. No, I'm not. I have friends of all colors and all religions. How am I racist? Because I don't agree with that statement.
Brother, exactly. And I'll tell you right, and you can post this everywhere. I don't agree with that statement, and it's bullshit. And it is and the BLM people. God, this is exactly what you're doing, and you're causing, which now you're leading to, and you're encouraging, whether you say it or not, you're encouraging the violence to start to happen with the rioters. But on the flip side, again, with that law enforcement, when you're coming in and you're dispersing rioters, if there's somebody on the ground. And brother, and you can't tell me some of you haven't done this. You can't go and pepper spray somebody that's on the ground and he's out of the fight. You don't go in there and you take that extra step. And
it's over. Why?
It's over. Well, and again, that goes back to training. That goes back to fear because you aren't well trained. That goes back to being and that goes back to letting anger get the best of you. And people say, Tano, what are you talking about? You had anger during Benghazi. You had anger during Iraq. You had anger during when you were in Kandahar. I never did. No, I did my job. I knew what my job was. I knew what my force escalation was. It never was emotional. That's why I was able to enjoy it so much, is because it wasn't emotional. It was, let's just go get the job done. And you never let anger get into it. And honestly, and people may think I'm crazy, I have respect for the Taliban. I have respect for Al-Qaeda. They thought they were doing the right thing too. And those guys fought their asses off. They did. And they were doing it because, they were doing it. It was us against them. And God thank us, we were a little bit better than they were. Granted, though, we did lose lives, and I've lost a bunch of lives of friends too. But that being said, it wasn't ever done out of anger or emotion. It was always just, Roger, let's go get it done. And you do turn into somewhat. People have said it before, they've been downrange. Robot mode. Well, you do kind of. You do really. You just, let's focus. Let's go get a job done. Anger, no. Threat, take him down. All right, he's trying to kill me. I'm going to kill him. He's trying to kill me. I'm going to kill him. He's not. I'm going to leave him alone. He may be a threat. I'm not sure. But is he shooting at me or is he trying to kill me? No, he's not. Let's move on to the next objective, but keep your eye on him. And that's where law enforcement, I think people within the law enforcement community, the ones that are doing the bad things, don't get that. But I don't think it comes back to being racist. It's just lack of training. And being a trainer with Battle Line Tactical and teaching police officers out there that come through our courses, they will tell you firsthand and first foremost, we don't get a lot of training unless we do it on our own. And that's where it comes down to. But again, we've let this go completely out of hand, and professional athletes and Levi's and every commercial out there has turned this into a racist movement.
Well, what about what's going on in Seattle?
And that's Well, you Seattle, you voted for that mayor. You voted for that governor. You always hear that, you reap what you sow. You do. That's what you guys get. And with the police that you have there now, they let that autonomous zone go. It's theirs. It's you can't go back. You can't go back and take that thing by force. You just can't. This isn't Iraq. This isn't Canada. Granted, I know you want to, but you can't go back in there and take it by force unless there starts to be a lot of violence within the group to innocents that are in there. And it sucks. It completely sucks, but that's what our country is. I mean, yeah, it's not, hey, we're going to go send in we're not going to go send in the NDS. Well, I don't know if I should say NDS. NDS is one of our allies there in Kabul. It's the CIA equivalent in Afghanistan. But I will say ISI in Pakistan. You can't go in and send the ISI, or you can't go in and send a paramilitary group in there to kill everybody and spread them out like in a third world country. That's not what our country is. That being said, on the flip side, for the people that have made that a no police zone, if there is a lot of violence within your groups that you have there, if you're seeing rapes, if you're seeing, there's murders, hey, you kick the police out. Again, you go back, you reap what you sow. You kick them out. You're on your, now they will go back in there eventually. Yeah, you should. As a governor, as a mayor, as the police chief for that district, you should start planning National Guard. You're going to need them. Yeah, you do. As a show of force generally quells, and it will. A show of force will generally quell, not the actual act of using the force, but a show of force, especially with the military, generally will disperse in our country, because when the military moves in, they do have a different posture that they're able to utilize, a different force escalation posture, rules of engagement posture, because now you're moving the military and now it's gone up a level. So that moves them out. But you do need to start planning. But again, it comes down to, well, guys, you let them have that in the first place, because you bowed down a bit. Now, that was a tough call because of what was going on. And again, I don't know exactly how aggressive, because I wasn't paying attention to the news, to be honest with you. I wasn't paying attention to the media. But I don't know how aggressive the police were in Seattle when they let it go. I don't know, Chris. You'd have to tell your viewers that. But that, again, you let it go. Once you let it go and you let them sit on it, and they took it. They took that little area. The only way to get it back is either you let it play out, and eventually they get tired, which most protesters do over time. Americans get tired. They've got to find something new to do, or you find a way to go back in there, and you do. You talk to whoever the leaders are. You try to. Yeah, you've allowed them to make this a political statement where now they have leaders, and they can demand. Here's our list of demands, and you have to play that out. Granted, do you have to adhere to those demands? No, you don't.
No,
but you at least have to listen to them. And I would, as a leader, okay, I'll give you the respect now, because I don't want violence. I don't want this to turn into a bloodshed. I don't want this to turn into something awful. I will listen to your demands, and then you got to handle it that way. And then, but for you guys out there, the ones that did make that, is it called autonomous zone, I think, or something like that? I've heard. Bro, if there's bad stuff going on within your groups there, and don't be calling the police to come help you. You kicked them out. So you have to eat it. You're going to have to eat it and deal with it. And that's how it's going to be. And that's it. That's on you. And, bro, it's become silly that that we've allowed this to get this far, but, and the Brett Favres and that they aren't helping the matter. But I'm sure he needs to still make a few money to make a little bit of money. He's got to pick a side. That's the side that's making the money right now. And I'm sure he's got a lot, let's say with Drew Brees, if you don't stand on the side that the occupation that you're in, and that you're not part of that majority, I'm sure it's going to hurt your bottom line. And yes, you're going to get threats, and so forth. Well, so have I and my family. Yeah. But you still stand up for what you believe in. And believe me, when you're making that flag a symbol of oppression, the Stars and Stripes, wow, way wrong. It has never been a symbol of oppression. The United States flag has been a symbol of freedom. And it's not a symbol of law enforcement either. Don't the right side can't put the flag with some law. No, bullshit. It's not law enforcement's flag either. It's America's flag. It's a freedom flag to, if you want to kneel. I think you're wrong, but you can kneel. But it's also your freedom to stand up, put your hand over your heart, and then say thank you to everybody that's been out there. And I've seen flag draped coffins. I've sat next to flag draped coffins on flights from overseas to Germany. I've loaded them on at my buddies that I watched die. That flag represents those that have sacrificed for all y'all out there. And you may hate you. I don't give a fuck if you hate me for it. All y'all out there to be idiots right now. And then all y'all out there to not have the fear to do the right thing, which is listen to the Constitution and listen to the Bible and believe in God, and also look and roll your eyes at those commercials that are trying to make money off this divisiveness and be like, God, that's bullshit. Well, that's my freedom to do that. And I fought and earned that right to do it. Just like you believe you have that right to kneel for the flag, or say Colin Kaepernick should be hailed as a hero as former Army Ranger Pat Tillman. Well, that's your right. Do I agree with it? Oh, hell no. Not even close. But that's what us veterans did for you to have those rights to do those things.
Yep.
And bro, I know I'm all over the place, as you can tell, Kris. Whenever I do the interview, I don't know how you edit this shit. I just jump back.
I don't have a I don't have a roadmap with you. We just
go. We just go. But it is. It's and I don't lose hope in this country. They're still the greatest country in the world. And with these problems that we've had, we've seen them before.
Yeah.
They need to get fixed, but we always get off of the problem that needs to be fixed. And we got to come back to, well, what started this all? Well, an escalation of force by a law enforcement officer that shouldn't have happened. And nobody's talking about fixing the innards of law enforcement. And it's all gone to, now we're all racist. So we're really not even addressing the problem anymore.
Well, defunding the police is not going to improve what the underlying issue is.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And no, it's not. It's not. And honestly, when you pull away from what the problem is right now, which is just that within certain, and it's not a huge portion of the law enforcement, but within the law enforcement community, when you're pulling the focus off what the problem really is, they don't feel like they have to fix it. So it's like, well, shit. It's kind of like when you do something wrong as a kid, and then your brother does something wrong as a kid, and your brother's was worse. So the focal point goes on you, and your parents just forget the bad thing you did. So you're kind of in the clear. That's kind of what it comes down. Yeah, I'm off the hook now. But I'm going to tell you right now, I said law enforcement, I hear it all the time. Well, 99.9% of us are good. There's that 1% out there that's a bad apple. Well, one bad apple spoils a whole bunch. So if all you guys are that great, all you guys are that good, and you're all doing the right thing, and I know there are some, I know some personally that are outstanding police officers. But if that's the case, then why can't you 99.9% fix that 1% and fix it in-house?
It's a tough job, and I'm sure you could relate to it. It's one of the few jobs where you get up in the morning, you go to work, and you don't know if you're coming home that day.
And that's what you picked, though. But that's what you sign up for. Yes, it is. It does. It's every time I got on that plane for 10 years, almost 11 years, over 10 years. Every time I got on that plane to fly away from my family, which I don't know how many times, I can't even count. I didn't know if I was coming back, and it was hard. And you don't know if this is the last time you're going to say, I love you to your family. In fact, I started to hate it. I was like, no, just take me to the airport, drop me off. I told you I love you. I don't want to do that again. But that was the job, and I accepted that. And you have to accept that. Now, having that acceptance does not give you the right to go in there and say, well, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to make sure I get home. You still have to follow rules. Sure. You still have rules of engagement. You still have force escalation. You still have your own policies. Now, if those policies are messed up and your policies are wrong, well, guess what, police chief or sheriff, you got to go in there and fix those damn policies. Yeah. But on the other side, again, that side, when you talk about what's going on at the moment, this whole thing has been hijacked by the Black Lives Matter that turned this into a racist issue, and race, and how whole America's racism, and the white guilt's is filling. The white guilt is just taking things over, and and also the white privilege, shit. I don't know about that white privilege stuff. I anymore.
I worked for everything I got in this life. I wasn't privileged. My father was a police officer. I didn't lead a lavish lifestyle. I wanted something. I had to go out and work.
You work hard at it. My father was raised very poor. With his parents died when he was 1, and his hard work in Texas, man, and has built himself up. It allowed me to not have to suffer like he did, to not have to go through that. But that was his choice. That was his hard work to do that. So, this whole, we've had a black president. One of the best secretaries of state, Condoleezza Rice, was a black African American. Was an African American lady. I know. We've you've got sports stars out there. Come on, when you look at a basketball court now in the NBA or football field, how many African Americans do you see out there? How many Caucasians do you see out there? And what are the pays? Is the pay equivalent to each other? Yeah, it is. It damn near is. So there's outlets. You see, and I'm not, you see in the music industry, you see even, you see in politics now, whether, the president with former President Barack Obama, all the way to on a gentleman that was served like Ben Carson, who is in politics, but is probably one of the smartest, if not the smartest man in the country, who is also in charge. Don't tell me that there's oppression going on right now. If oppressed people are the ones that don't want to work hard, that don't want to get up. I'm Latino. My grandfather was an immigrant. I'm Mexican. He came over as an immigrant, and he picked on a farm, and he worked his ass off. And I saw him every day growing up, worked his ass off to get his own farm. And I remember always going out in Delta, Colorado. He was one of the most respected people in Delta, Colorado. Whenever we go out, he was Latino, he was Mexicano, it didn't make a difference. I saw more white farmers giving him, and I didn't even think about it at the time because it was just how it was. And now I think about, like, damn, more white farmers saying, "Hey, Joaquin, how are you?" and showing him so much respect that, man, that I never saw oppression or that there was a minority. Because my grandfather was one of the top guys in the city of Colorado, in the city of Delta. Mm-hmm. So that's what bothers me a whole bunch too, is with this oppression. Is that wait a second, man? I grew up around that. I grew up around, we call wetback, and you can be mad at me if you want. So I call them wetbacks. Yeah. They're migrant workers that came in. One saved my life when I cracked my head open in the back of a potato truck playing hide and go seek when I was 7, bleeding out, and nobody knew where I was. And the guy came in and picked me up and took me to Grandma Rosa's house. And I never saw that there was a Latino against a white Caucasian or against an African American issue in Colorado and Western Colorado. I never saw it. And my grandpa never said anything that there was. And he never complained about the cards he was dealt. He never complained about anything. He just got his ass up and he worked every day hard as hell. And he was successful. And that's what I saw. But we don't see that.
My father was, he was an immigrant from Italy as well. 3rd grade education. He owned 3 6-family brownstones in Queens.
And see, you know what? Maybe it's just easier now to get out there and protest and post stuff about your protesting and your sides on Instagram and Facebook and make money that way, than actually get up in the morning and go work at a job.
Point your finger and blame somebody or why you don't have what you have.
It is,
instead of just getting up and going to work.
And brother, and I think maybe that's it. I really wish I knew, dude. I don't. But it's still, as much as it may be disheartening a little bit at times for me, because it is. I'm not going to tell you there aren't days that I wake up and be like, why the hell did I sacrifice 11 years of my life plus 8 more years of my life being in the military, being away from home, this 11 years being away from home and deployed, for this? Why did I stay away from? Why did I miss how many birthdays? Why did I miss the births of my children? Why did I miss, how many holidays, Christmases, Thanksgiving, away from home, thinking I'm protecting this country and its freedoms, when I come back and I see fear from a virus that is bullshit. It's serious, but it's not as serious. It's not as Lord.
I agree with
I do, and that's just from my personal experience being out and about. Again, I don't watch the news, but I still travel. I still am around people because I teach firearms. I teach them in areas that they're supposed to be. Chicago's one of them. But why did, and I think a lot of veterans think that way. They're like, what the hell? What the hell did we sacrifice all our lives for this? But then we got to remember and think back. And like I just said at the beginning of the show, we did it for the freedoms. We did it for people's rights to, whether we agree with what they're doing or not, it's for those rights to, an example, to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance and sing the national anthem, or if you want to kneel, hey, then that's your right. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. But that is your right, and that's what we did it for. It's why this made this country great. We did. I protected, and veterans like myself protected your right to protest non-violently. When it turns to a violent protest, then that's no longer a protest. That's just violence. That's bad. But we protected those rights. We protected those rights for a police officer to get out there and serve your community and protect. Then you take it to the next level where you're kneeling on some dude's neck for really you shouldn't have when you're escalating that force up too high. That goes into the violence part of it. We're like, okay, well, that I don't know if I protected that right. But that being said, there is that gray area that people aren't that middle area that people aren't seeing anymore. It's just all right, all left, and veterans out there like myself are just looking at it all. I know there's some out there like me that are just going, really, guys? What the hell? Get it together. And that's why, honestly, bro, I haven't stepped in, and I won't. I haven't stepped in and taken a side because I don't believe either side is completely right. I think there's a middle ground here that people are missing. But, bro, it's going to be hard for that middle ground to be found when, like you said, you got Levi, Brett Favre, the NFL, and you got constant things on that idiot box just throwing you an agenda. Bam, and you have to see it. And the only way you don't see it is you got to turn that off. But people can't turn off the TV. They can't turn off their Facebook. They can't turn off Instagram, at least for a week, just to get your head cleared. It's like cocaine. We're addicted to that shit.
Yeah. I want to switch gears for a minute before we got to wrap this up. You just came out with your third book, Patriots Great.
Yeah. Actually, it was written. It came out. I would say it's been out for a few months. I say about 4 months. But when the hibbity-bibbity virus hit, the coronavirus hit, it kind of shut down all my speaking engagements and book signings. And I get it. Hey, that's people want to be. Hey, you want to be careful initially. They're coming back around though. Now that we're figuring out that I think people are realizing they were for the most part. They were lied to by the CDC. They were lied to by the World Health Organization, saying how bad it was, and that they, But that being said, it came out, and this was the third one, and it wasn't about me. Hachette, the book publisher, Grand Central Publishing, which is Hachette, they wanted me to do the third one. I'm like, well, let's do one about other guys. Let's do something about other veterans or other service members that have accomplished things in their life, and let's use the Army values. Because I felt that people in this country were losing their values. We're losing morality. We're losing, as a whole, virtue. We're losing just their complete inner virtue, which is God, which is the Bible, which is faith. But I said, well, as an Army, let's do the values because they really represent virtue, integrity. You got duty, honor, courage, personal courage, moral courage, and so forth. And I picked a bunch of other guys and their stories. One was a pararescueman. His name's Scotty, who jumped in it was just a training jump, and he did a halo jump, and his chute didn't open. He burned in. He died on the drop zone. And it's his experience of actually remembering what it was like for him being dead, and then coming back, and then building himself back up to become a PJ again. I mean, he hit I don't know how many thousand feet, died on the drop zone, and he went through all that turmoil to try to build himself back up, and he actually went and became a pararescueman again. Another one is Israel Matos, tremendous Marine who saved his team by a IED when he threw his team and shielded them when a donkey bomb in Afghanistan. and he caught all the shrapnel, and how his life changed because he wasn't ready to get out being a young Marine, and how he succeeded after, how he still had to go through adversity. And my favorite one is Alwyn C. Cash, who was a sergeant within the Army, and he was in an attack in Iraq, and his Bradley, he was in charge. He was Sergeant First Class. He was a platoon sergeant basically for his Bradley fighting vehicle team, and how it got blown up, and how it hit by RPG, and how it was on fire, and how he got out. But his team, if you've ever been in a Bradley, there's a section on the bottom where you have dismounts, where you have just guys that get out, and your infantry team, they're 11 Bravos that get out and run and do your assaulting if the Bradley can't move on to an objective. Well, they were trapped inside there as that vehicle was burning. He got out. He's safe. Now, he was doused with gasoline by the spot he was in. So his whole uniform, his DCUs are all covered with gas, with fuel, from the Bradley. And his team was trapped in there, and he ran back as the Bradley's on fire and saved his team by getting them out. During that process, though, his uniform caught on fire, and he actually subsequently died. So his whole team that was going to die and burn to death, he saved them. Even though he was saved, he was fine. He ended up dying because he burned to death because his uniform caught fire. And I put him in the story, and I got it from his CO, his captain that was with him, told the majority of that story of Alwyn C. Cash, of Sergeant First Class Cash, because to me that was like, my Lord. I mean, if that doesn't exemplify, honor and courage, I don't know what does. You are safe. Think about that. You are safe. You're away from the danger. You have to go back in there to save your team. And you know that you're probably going to die by running back into the fire. And I've ran into fire before. And that's no joke, man. Running into a flame, burning flames is I'd rather be in a gunfight. I really would. Because you can't fight Mother Nature. You can't fight fire when you have no water, nothing. And he's covered in fuel, and he ran back in there and saved his whole team at the cost of his own life. And he wasn't awarded the Medal of Honor. That's why I put him in the book too. I'm like, holy shit, how is this dude not awarded the Medal of Honor? But that's the Patriot's Creed. That's what that book's about. And honestly, today, in this day and age, what's going on right now, and I'm not pushing the book. People read it if you want, don't read it if you want, but I think it's important. And it goes back also to moral courage, having integrity. And I believe the law enforcement community could get a lot out of that too, of doing the right thing when no one else is looking. And it starts not at the time that you're dealing with the subject. And I think your father can probably tell you the same thing. It starts in the academies. It starts getting that good base of having values. And then it just continues on once you get later in years, which you can pull back from. So, but yeah, it's probably my favorite book. I like The Ranger Way. I love 13 Hours, but this is my favorite because it's not about my dumb ass. Even though I do have little excerpts in there about some other times when I was in Iraq, because I served a lot of years. When I was fighting pirates off the coast of Somalia, riding ships for Pacific Gulf Marine, after Captain Phillips was attacked on the Maersk. So, but it's good because it's other people.
Appreciate your time.
Bro, are we already done?
Yeah, we're at 45 minutes, man.
Holy shit, I ramble too damn much.
And that's our show for today. Thanks again for watching our American Outdoor News podcast. You could always go to AmericanOutdoorNews.com for more great interviews and stories. And remember, whether you're hunting the plains of Africa, hiking the Appalachian Trail, or fishing the Sea of Cortez, American Outdoor News has it covered.